reread this story at the library. As we read this story, we're going to talk about point of view. Every story has a narrator, or a person who tells this story. The narrator's point of view tells how the narrator feels or thinks about the characters or events that's happening. When the narrator uses pronouns like I, me, myself, the story has a first person narrator. When the narrator uses pronouns such as he, she, or they, the story has a third person narrator. So as I read this story, I want you to look for these key words, these pronouns, and see if you can figure out what point of view this story is being told from. Okay, follow along with me. At the library, Rick Dodson admired the pink and orange sky as he waved goodbye to Mrs. Rio and locked the library door. As the sun began its descent behind the Blue Ridge Mountains, Rick started walking to his office to collect his jacket. Seeing a jumble of books on a reading table, he sighed and began to gather them into a neat pile. No, he stated firmly, and returned the books to the table. Not tonight. The librarian never left any books out, but today was his birthday, which meant a brisk walk to the Cupcake Cafe for a birthday treat before it closed at 5:30 p.m. That evening, as he sat at home in his book-filled living room, Rick thought about the old friends who had called to wish him a happy birthday. If only this job had not required him to move halfway across the country. After 6 months here, he had made more than one new acquaintance, but no real friends yet. Books are my friends, he thought, which reminded him of the books sitting on the table at the library. I might as well go back tonight and shelve them, he decided. He entered the library and flicked on the lights. Immediately, he noticed a book, Small World, face down on the floor. What's going on? He muttered as he bent down and cautiously lifted up the book. Ah! He yelled and dropped the book. 4 miniature figures scrambled out of the way as the book landed on the floor with a thud. Mr. Dodson, exclaimed a breathless voice, we are enchanted to make your acquaintance. What? Who? Rick stammered. As we have finished this first page, did you notice any pronouns that they repeated? Were they using words like I, me, or my for a first-person narrator? Or were they using pronouns like he, she, or they for a third-person narrator? What do you think? Think about it. We're going to keep reading and see if you see the same pronouns in this second part, on these second pages. We're the Bookers. I'm William. This is Emily, and our children, Harry and Clementine. By the way, happy birthday! You know, it's my birthday. Naturally, we read your file when you arrived 6 months ago. It's only logical that we would want to learn about the new librarian. You were scrounging through my files, Rick said, collapsing into a nearby chair. He rubbed his eyes, but the tiny figures were still there, looking up at him expectantly. Suddenly, the nimble Bookers began shimmying up the table. We're absolutely trustworthy, Emily assured him. Haven't you heard of Bookers? William asked. Every library has Bookers. We ensure everything runs smoothly, said Emily. Seen any mice around? They love to gnaw on everything. Rick slowly shook his head. I do nightly rodent patrols, Harry stated proudly. Those mice run at the sight of me, he added scornfully. Do your chairs ever squeak? Inquired Clementine. No, that's because we oil them. Rick considered the past 6 months. He hadn't seen one mouse. His chairs never squeaked and his pencils were never dull. The pencils, he asked. We sharpen them nightly, William replied. But why? Asked Rick. Look around, exclaimed William. We work and read. Bookers and libraries are complementary. We belong together. To be honest, Mr. Dodson, said Emily, we wanted to meet you because we thought we could be friends. Rick Dodson grinned. Call me Rick, and I'd love to be friends, he said. Rick eventually made other new friends, but he still spent many evenings with the Bookers. He bought a toy car for Harry's rodent patrol, and he read scary stories aloud to Clementine. Every year on his birthday, he brought cupcakes for his friends to share with him. Okay, did you notice any pronouns that the narrator used repeatedly throughout the entire story? What kind of pronouns did you see? Yeah, you're right. We saw pronouns such as he. You're exactly right. What point of view uses he for pronouns? Yes, great job. This story is told in a third person point of view. You're exactly right. Great job.